Hey everybody, Ray again. Welcome back to another installment. So today I'm going to be cutting an opening in my fender and taking a look at those outside wheel houses. Yeah, I did a little cleanup inside. There's a lot of dirt inside the rockers and stuff, so I kind of cleaned that up first. Yeah, so now I'm just going to cut an access. I'm not going to cut the entire fender out yet. I just want to get the wheelhouse, figure out what I need to do there. Just need access to kind of work on it, and yeah, so let's get started on that. Okay, well, that didn't take too long. That's all apart. As you can see, it was kind of pieced together. There was a patch put in years ago. That was all gone. Yeah, that's what's left. Looks like I found a piece of tire. Yeah, or something. I think that was a tire. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that was a piece of something else. Piece of rubber jammed up inside there. Maybe that was a piece of carpet they had in there. I don't know. But a lot of crap. Got to get this cleaned off. Get all that old steel. That's pretty rotten. And I got to figure out how I'm going to get the rest of this old wheelhouse off. So yeah, I got a bit of cleanup to do. I might have to cut this back up a little more. I got to get at least another couple inches. I think when I do my fender, I'll probably be closer to this lip anyway. So I got a bit of room to work with. Yeah, so I'm gonna get working on that, and I'll give you an update when it's all pretty close to being cleaned up anyway. Okay, well, all done. I'm just messing with you. I got it kind of cleaned up, and that's the new panel just clamped into place. Behind it, things are looking a little rough. A lot of rust inside. There's a mount here that just was completely rotten, so I have to, it just came down, attached to that, weld to that, so I'm just going to brace in, put in a few pieces and brace it, weld to that upper piece, which is still fairly solid. Yeah, let's see if I can get this off. And I'll show you what I'm dealing with here. Got somewhere. Alright. So, here we are. That kind of slides into there. Into there, and that should fit. Problem is, when you put these when all these went together originally, you see that flange? Well, it mated up with the flange on the rear, or the inside wheelhouse, and then it goes in behind this piece of steel here. So, I'm gonna have to probably do the same thing with this piece, but I don't know quite how I'm gonna do that yet. I think, because these, not sure how that's even welded together. This is all spot welded in, but this I can just see a bead or something. Yeah, I may just take a grinder and just run it along there, make a gap between this and the other panel and try to grind out this other section. It's just 20 gauge, so it's pretty thin. Another thought I had was just grinding that flange off and just welding the inside. to it. That's pretty solid. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to do a little research and see what maybe other people are doing. I don't know if there's a right way or a wrong way to do this. Just as long as the steel, you know. So I always think, what am I gaining by taking that out, that steel that's good, taking that out and putting steel that's good back in? I don't know. I don't think I'm gaining a whole lot. Really, the outside wheelhouse, all that does is keep dirt and stuff from going in elsewhere inside the car and hold my fender out. So if it's solid, whether that flange is there or not, I don't think it's a big deal. But I'm going to do a little work. This was pretty rusty inside, so I cleaned it up with the wire wheel and hit it with the rust converter, and it's actually looking pretty good. May have to hit it one more time. Yeah. And the other side, so I wait for that to dry. So on this side, I cut out the same, so I'm just working away. There's an undercoating on here too, so I had to get the heat gun out and scrape everything off. And same thing, that was rotten, and that's all pretty rusty, so I'm just kind of working away, cleaning things up. Like all this, that needs to be kind of fixed. Like, I'll just put a rough patch in there. It's just an access for the window regulator, so it's not really holding much in. As long as it's solid, I think it'll be all right. The shape doesn't really make a big difference, or whether it has that bead around it. It's not really huge concern on that section. I don't think anyway. I don't know. That's what I'm gonna do. So I guess we'll find out. I don't think it's gonna fall apart if it doesn't have that bead on it. Yeah, just working away, and yeah, I'm just still trying to think about what to do with all this rust. So far, I've just been hitting it with rust converter, and it's been hitting it with a primer. Just doing a ragged oxide primer because that seems to stand up really well. You know, it's not like this car is ever going to see salt or anything like that. So a while ago, I did a test piece. It was just, this was an old rear frame rail that came with the car, and it sat in that car, you know, with mouse stuff on it and everything, and it was heavily rusted. As you can see, it's, you know, between brand new steel and this wasn't protected at all, and it's heavily rusted. So what I did was I just kind of took a wire brush, and just to see how, if that red oxide primer was any good, I took a wire brush and then hit it with the red oxide primer. And yeah, I'm surprised at how well that, like, I took a wire wheel to it, and that's all that came off. Like, it's really on there. Like, it's hard coming off. And that's been, you know, I did that right when I started, just to see going forward if that was going to be all right. Yeah, that, compared to, you know, I can flake off rust here with my fingernail. This is just absolutely solid. So I think it's not horrible, I'll tell you. It's a rust, you know, it's just a Tremclad. This one was another brand of black, it was a black rust paint. It wasn't Tremclad, I just hit it with that. And even that, it's not quite as good. You can still see a little bit of rust in there, but I did the same thing. I hit it just with a wire brush and painted it just real rough. Yeah, you can still see some of the rust coming through a little bit. But yeah, that primer, that Tremclad, seems to hold up quite well. Like, it's noticeably, like, it feels hard. Like, it's almost like an epoxy coating, but I don't know. I think it'll be all right if I just hit the inside with it. But, you know, I'm not an expert at this. What's the worst that can happen? I don't know. I don't think anything, really. So I'm going to keep working away and see where we're at in a little while. Okay, so this is for real this time. As you can see, it's all welded in. Did a bunch of plug welds along the top. It looks like hell, but you know, it's just the way it looks for now. I'll get it cleaned up. I replaced this piece in here. That light's way too bright. As you, yeah, that was all rusted out. I have a new piece of metal in there. And yeah, I got my frame. That internal frame coating applied. As you can see in there, it's all black. It doesn't look too bad. It's not rusty anymore, so that's good. It's really thin, so it's yeah, as soon as you spray it in there, it just creeps into every little crack and orifice that you can get it in. I also did the front frame rails in there. Can't see very well, but you get the idea. It's painted in there now. I cleaned those out earlier, same as any hole I could get in before I ran out. I'll have to get another can. I only got part of the frame done. One more can should probably do it, and then I can get all the nooks and crannies too and give that a coat. Yeah, now I got this side done. I will got to get started on the other side. So it takes forever to do this. I'm finding out. Just there's a lot of little things that need to be done. Yeah, well, it's not in the best of shape, I'll be honest with you. So it just takes forever. A lot of cleanup, a lot of prep before I get things going. So yeah, it just takes time. I still have to weld in on the other side these. I may do that before I do the other side. There was some bracing that came down, just like a internal what do we call it, C-channel that came down and attached to the top of the fender here, or the top of the wheelhouse. Yeah, it's solid the way it is, but I'll put those on either way, and it'll just help. I think it just ties it in with the rest of the car, rest of the frame. Yeah, I think that's pretty good, but I'll get started on the other side, and I'll just yeah, I'll just show you the finished product. See you in a bit. Okay, so it's a few days later. I've been slowly getting at this, getting ready to weld on. Just about there. You see I cut out that piece, so that has to be welded in after I get the wheelhouse welded in. Everything's prepped. Yeah, I'm just about set. The other side took me a little bit. It looks pretty good. I got this made up and welded in. Can't see that very well. Let me see here. That looks better. Yeah, so then I got everything painted in here. She looks pretty good. Yeah, we're pretty happy with it. I like the way this turned out. I think that'll work out real well. So I got to do the same thing the other side. I had it fitted once and marked out all my spots where I had to trim. And yeah, everything's ready to be welded on. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, well, that took a long time. So it's a couple days since I took that last little section of video. Took a while just to get this lined up. I've been going nice and slow just so I make sure everything is fitting properly. Yeah, I had to replace this piece down here. Just welded another piece of metal, strengthen this up a little bit. I just finished welding this in and cleaning it up. I'm doing these in just 3 parts. I do this face one first, weld that in, and then I make my little side pieces and then just weld them all together. I think it turned out pretty well. So yeah, now I've got everything cleaned, and I'm just gonna hit it with that rust reformer again, and that's probably it for these wheelhouses. Obviously there's a little bit of work I need to do on the inside. So I think after this I'll get started on these quarter panels. Yeah, I think I'll get that all buttoned up, hopefully. I feel like this is going to take a long time, so that'll be a separate video, but once I get this all painted, I'll show you the finished product, and that'll be it. Alright, well, that's the finished product. I put the sprayed it on kind of heavy in these spots. You can see the run, but I wanted to get underneath those panels and inside where the sheet metal's touching. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, I think that's it for this video. Yeah, thanks for watching. I should have another video out another week or so. This one took a lot longer than I thought it would. But yeah, slowly working away on it. Yeah, everything's coming together. So up next, we're going to fill in these holes. So feel free to subscribe if you want to stay on top of these things. And I'll see you in the next video.